Imagine being a band which have released only 3 albums, but became one of the most famous groups in the world. Nirvana did this, with Kurt Cobain's charismatic face and unique style, which literally hypnotized fans in the 1990s. However, soon everything was over when Kurt Cobain's sadness finally defeated him. Welcome to Fearless Mindset, and it's possible that this video makes you cry. Kurt Cobain was born on February 20th, 1967 in Washington, and had a difficult childhood. Cobain's parents divorced when he was just 9 years old, and the incident affected him deeply. As he couldn't stand his father, he went to live with his mother and her boyfriend in the early 1980s. But his mother struggled with drug addiction and mental health issues, and Kurt often spoke publicly about feeling neglected and abandoned by her. As a result, he left his family and spent much of 1984 and 1985 living a nomadic life. He moved between various relative houses, stayed with friends' parents, and occasionally slept under bridges while he began to use drugs. However, when Cobain was introduced to punk rock music, a seed was planted that would forever change his life. Cobain started to teach himself how to play guitar, and in the mid-1980s he began to play with members of the local sludge rock band, the Melvins. Together they formed Fecal Matter, and they spent several months rehearsing original matters and covers, including songs by the Ramones, Led Zeppelin, and Jimi Hendrix, but it disbanded in 1986. However, that wasn't the end of Kurt Cobain's career, as he was eagerly looking for someone to practice music with and play in a band. So he went after his high school friend Chris Novoselic. Kurt and Chris were 2 close friends who occasionally practiced music in Chris' mother's house, and a few years later they formed a band that would ultimately become the famous group Nirvana. Nirvana released its first track Love Buzz on a small label in 1988. The Love Buzz was originally written by the Dutch rock band Shotgun Blue. Nirvana's cover version gained so much popularity and played a significant role in establishing the band's early reputation. Around the same time, Nirvana's first drummer Burkhardt was replaced by Chad Channing, and the band released its first album Bleach in 1989, which failed to make a big impression. Kurt was dissatisfied with Channing's style and thought they had missed their only opportunity. As a result, he fired Channing and they replaced Dave Grohl, who became Nirvana's permanent drummer. Nirvana released its major label debut Nevermind in 1991, which featured the hit single Smells Like Teen Spirit. The single pushed their album to #1 on the music charts and established Cobain as an exceptional songwriting talent of his era. Also the following year, Kurt married Courtney Love, whom he had been dating for several months, and the couple gave birth to Kurt Cobain's only child. But life began to show its darker side, and things took a turn for the worse. Cobain had long suffered from depression and chronic stomach pain, and to treat his issues, he started using heroin in the years after Nirvana's breakthrough, which affected his ability to perform and create music. However, Nirvana released his final studio album, in Utero, in 1983, which debuted at #1 on the Billboard 200 chart and sold 180,000 copies in its first week. Nirvana performed for the MTV's Unplugged in New York City in 1993, and they also started touring Europe. But long-term use of drugs slowly started to show its effect, and in March 1994, and while on a tour in Italy, Kurt was hospitalized after overdosing and slipping into a coma in what was later described as a failed suicide attempt. Also, when he returned to the United States, Cobain's psychological state worsened, and 1 month later, on April 5th, 1994, a 27-year-old Cobain committed suicide in the guest house behind his Seattle home. Cobain's death shocked many fans around the world, and while his life was cut short, his music and influence will continue to be remembered for generations to come. So let me finish this video by Kurt Cobain's most impressive quotes. But first, please make sure to press the like button, as it helps us a lot to grow. I'd rather be hated for who I am than loved for who I am not. There are a lot of things I wish I would have done, instead of just sitting around and complaining about having a boring life. Wanting to be someone else is a waste of who you are. I like to complain and do nothing to make things better. If you die, you're completely happy and your soul somewhere lives on. I'm not afraid of dying. Total peace after death. Becoming someone else is the best hope I've got.